Hello, my name is Brian Morphew. I'm here to talk about past events and how they affect our perception of things. So, what I'm going to talk about is traumatic events and how they affect your center of thoughts. The brain uses memories as a way of perception and bias towards something. An example of this is trauma as a kid when they receive their parents split up and they're scared that their future partner might split up with them. The reason I use this as an example is because I feel like a lot of kids can relate to it. Um, and the beliefs that you get when you were younger as a kid are the beliefs you would believe here in the future or the present. The reason I say this is because those are your building blocks or your core values that you learned as a kid. The beliefs you internalize from various systems, including family, education, and society, shape how you see yourself and others. I got this from explorepsychology.com. I'm going to talk about traumatic events here as well. I use this as an example because it's very true in today's day and age. Our childhood beliefs build our core beliefs and self identity. So, reiterating that again, if these building blocks are built and old, being scared of any emotion that is harmful, it can be directly shown how they will act in the future. Psychology Today, I got that from. The reason I say this is because you can see it in a lot of people who grew up poor or not as wealthy as others. They go back to their old habits because that's how they grew up and those are their core building blocks and they don't know any different. How the brain works when it's being developed. A great example of there being past trauma directly interfering with the present is PTSD. The way PTSD works is a past event would happen, that trauma would be relived in someone's head in the current. Got that from 2 Minute Neuroscience. That feeling may feel fear, guilt, and anger at times. Um, the memories at hand are interfering with the present directly, and this shows how the past events change someone's perspective. The Human Project Foundation. PTSD is a great example of this. You can see it in a lot of people who are in the military. They have no one else to relate to them besides other people in the military, so they feel like they're on their own, and their brains are developed differently than other people's would be. So it is very easy to single them out compared to others. How past events can be used for good. Past events can be also be a good thing for people because if they go into a situation with a good outlook, because everything went smooth beforehand, they won't exercise those feelings of guilt or fear. Got that from explorepsychology.com. This could also be used as an example. You go into something with a good mindset, you typically will do better on it than if you weren't. If you're going to something with a bad mindset, you wouldn't do as well. You'd be more stressed out and worried about getting it done. How the past can be used for good as well. An example of this is taking a test. Someone who did good on a test last time will be more confident and less worried than the people who previously flunked it. The brain runs on previous memories and uses them to perceive what to do in a situation. Recognition memory is only one form of long-term memory. It's relatively unsurprising that our ability to visually identify and distinguish between distinct items in our surroundings depends on the kind of long-term memory. Psychology.com or psychologytoday.com. The reason I put this quote in there is because it also backs up what I said earlier, that your core building blocks and your core values are what really build your long-term memory and your long-term version and perception of yourself. So takeaways from this: the past builds the brain of your future and present, meaning that it will directly interfere with you in your life today. PTSD is a good example of this. Like I've said before, people in the military often experience this. You can get them from also other things. It's just that seems to be most common. Past can also be used for good, meaning like taking the test or going into something with a better mindset than someone who is all worried about it and stressed out can lead to a better outcome. An example of this is taking a test. They're going to be less stressed out and worried, meaning they're more than likely going to do better on the test. This is my sources. Thank you.